If you were to ask me what is the most beautiful game in a franchise, I'll probably tell you it's Sonic CD. Sonic CD is a very special game that means the absolute world to me. It's been sitting at the top as my favorite Sonic game ever for quite a while. I don't think there's really any other game out there quite like CD. It's such a dazzling and feels good game from start to end that always makes me feel better anytime I play it. It tasks Sonic with a seemingly impossible task to reach beyond time itself to save the day, but somehow, with enough courage and strength, it's doable. A core theme of Sonic CD is the idea that if you believe, then you can do anything. It's something weaved through the entire game in both obvious and subtle ways, but also exists in the real world amongst those that have worked on Sonic CD and those that have played and been inspired by it. And it's a bit cheesy to say, but that theme has really inspired me a lot since I was a kid. It's not like I never heard of the message of believing in yourself before. Of course I have. I just never really connected much with it whenever I would hear it. But all that really changed when having that message paired with my obsession. There's been a lot of things going on lately in my life since I started this YouTube channel, and the biggest transition in my life has just recently occurred. But first, hang on. Before I dive more into that, I need to time travel to the past and touch on not only my history with Sonic CD, but also the development team time making it. When I was a kid and I finally discovered Sonic CD through Mega Collection, I honestly thought it was an animated movie that I missed out on. The cutscenes were so beautifully animated, I wanted to discover more about this mysterious Sonic CD. At one point, I honestly thought Sonic CD and Sonic OVA were connected due to their art styles, but it wasn't until later that I learned that they were both done by two completely different animation studios. Sonic Gems Collections released, and that's when I finally learned Sonic CD was actually a video game. Certainly surprised, but excited nonetheless to give it a go. I remember enjoying CD a lot, but there were two issues I was having. One, the special stages. In Gems Collections, the special stages are sped up, making them more difficult to complete, compared to the original Sega CD version, where the gameplay is much slower. And two, Metal Sonic. For the life of me, I couldn't beat Metal in that iconic race, and it frustrated me as I kept getting game overs. So as much as I was digging Sonic CD, it kinda left me in this weird spot for the first time in my life playing a Sonic game, where I felt like I couldn't do it. Very weird, because every other Sonic game I've ever played has been a breeze for me, but CD ironically was the odd one that gave me issues. Eventually I emulated the original Sega CD version and got better at the slower paced gameplay with the special stages, and eventually I conquered them. This also led to me finally being able to defeat Metal Sonic as well. Now during my time emulating, when I downloaded that version of Sonic CD, it actually contained the original Japanese soundtrack. Imagine my surprise experiencing two different soundtracks, but even more importantly, listening to You Can Do Anything for the very first time. Something about the Japanese soundtrack really changed the molecules in my brain, because it's still my favorite soundtrack in the entire franchise over a decade later. But let me get back on track and dive a little bit into the main theme song, You Can Do Anything, and the significance behind it. The theme song You Can Do Anything can be a bit of a wacky song that carries that 90s charm to it, but also a song that's pretty genuine about its main message at hand. The parts in the song where singer Keiko Utoku really sings her heart out really makes the song shine bright with its sheer optimistic belief that courage can define the future. Despite enjoying the North American main theme Sonic Boom, I find myself clicking more with the original Japanese theme. Both songs are great, but I think You Can Do Anything fits more in line with Sonic CD's multiple themes that can be discovered and dissected through its runtime. I think most importantly, the song itself ties deeply into one of the other prominent themes that exists within, which is that of harmony versus discord. Your future can be that of harmony, a joyous time where you can enjoy the fruits of your labor and everything feels at peace. Your future can also be that of discord, a miserable time where nothing feels like it went the way you want it, and everything feels like a chaotic mess. As the great Sparky pointed out in his incredible 7-hour analysis of Sonic CD, the future is coming no matter what, so it's up to us to decide the fate that will exist. And You Can Do Anything pushes that notion that if you believe, then the future you want will come to realization. The creation of the song is actually interesting in hindsight. During development of Sonic CD, Naoto Oshima stayed back in Japan and worked with Naofumi Hataya and Masafumi Ogata to craft the original music of the game. Naofumi Hataya in an interview recalled the difficulties of crafting a high level of quality for the main theme of Sonic CD, and how working on the music for a flagship Sega title wasn't something he could take lightly. One of the things he highlighted was how when he and Masafumi Ogata tried to send a demo tape to Naoto Oshima for the main theme, Oshima was adamant about the music not fitting his vision for Sonic CD. It led to Hataya and Masafumi both having to work much harder to match that vision, and in turn, Hataya would come to understand how important game music can be. How with the right music, you can tightly weave it into the underlying concept of the game itself. It's interesting how this understanding of game music would lead into a song to encapsulate everything about the current miracle project, Sonic CD, and how the song was given the name You Can Do Anything. The song not only ties into what the game wanted to convey, but it also represented the development team's internal struggles, and how no matter what, they could do it. That certain level of layer behind a track makes it one of the most beautiful songs in the franchise, while further cementing Sonic CD as a beautiful work in itself. And while that song was the first step into me consciously recognizing its themes, the more I indulged in the world of Sonic CD, the more I gained a deeper appreciation for it and what it symbolized. Over time, Sonic CD stopped being just a video game to me, but more like a piece of art and a guide to how I should tackle things in life. Difficult situations would come my way, and instead of backing down and succumbing to the negative thoughts that I couldn't do it, instead I confidently smiled and did it. I found that courage within to do anything. This all turns into a full circle moment for me now that I'm older. As I mentioned at the start, I've been going through a pretty big transitional period in my life now as an adult. I'll spare you the backstory this time, but I can say right now that I'm finally living my dream. Not only am I making YouTube videos regarding the hero I love and respect the most, but I'm also living and working in Japan now. It's always been a dream of mine since I was a kid to be in Japan. While it started with an obsession over my interests coming from it, it eventually grew into a deeper respect and love for the actual culture itself. There were many times where the feeling of I can't do it would swirl around my mind as things kept happening, but I persisted. I kept believing in myself, knowing the future was coming eventually, and I shaped it into what I wanted. And now, I'm here experiencing my own version of a good future. The bonus of being here is that now I'm able to experience Japan-exclusive Sonic events. I recently was out in Fukuoka and visited a Sega pop-up shop where I got to grab a bunch of Sonic merch. I've been also enjoying my time trying to hunt down whatever Sonic stuff I can come across, and so far, I think I'm doing a pretty good job with what I'm finding. All this to say, Sonic CD is really beautiful, and I really owe that game a lot. There's nothing quite like it. I hope to dive more into Sonic CD and other parts in future videos, but for now I just only wanted to talk about this aspect behind its themes of You Can Do Anything and how it resonates with me. I hope that other Sonic fans have been able to experience Sonic CD and discover its beauty, but most importantly I hope that while you do discover its beauty, I hope that its core message resonates with you in a positive way the same way it has for me.